do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
They changed the name of the high school and all James Woods can say is, ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When a ball turned into a vampire, all James Woods could say was, ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When he became Peter's best friend, they sat around the house and said, ooh, I'll be second day. 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 And you know that James Woods practices laundry well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When they know that he's an actor, the best of them always says, ooh, I'll be second day. 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 Reese's Pieces on the floor and watch him conversate. Ooh, I'll be second day. 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 And you know that James Woods practices laundry well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, I'll be second day. 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 When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, I'll be second day. 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 Ooh, I'll be second day.
Fucking thing sucks.
What is up? Oh, look at the spookies in the background there. That's for Halloween, y'all. Because that's tomorrow. Tomorrow is Halloween. This is Halloween Eve. So this is where instead of going around and asking for candy, you just go around people's houses and ask for booze. Any spare change they got, you know, it's the American way. We got pea stuff in the house with candy. Is that candy for me? Pea stuff, you know I got a sweet tooth. Hey, Jacqueline. Jacqueline's one of our newest Patreon peeps. Congratulations. It's good to see you. We got Miguel 5000 computer online and Desert Mantis. Desert Mantis threatened not to be here, and then he showed up. So good for you. And Anonymous, good to see you as well. Let's bring in Dee from around the world. Dee and friends. Let me make sure I hit the right button. This is her. This is her file photo from when she got caught shoplifting at Denny's. She was they take a picture. They said, "You don't come back to this Denny's, lady," and she's never been back.
Nope.
That's right. Shh, don't tell. Everybody with D in their name is in the witness protection program on this show. So, because we had no lady last week. Uh, we are being heard that bit behind the scenes already, so I feel like it's already tainted because I just said it and it went poof. Anyway, a lot of people here. Good to see you, D. What's going on? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, thank you. Had a busy day today,
What
but it's good to be with you.
you say that now, and but then later when the papers are drawn up, then it tells a different story in court. But um, that was my Hollywood Squares answer. So
I know, right?
I
I
love
used to
it.
like that. I loved Hollywood Squares.
I love Hollywood Squares. I love it because you would, if they were a funny person in the square, they would ask them the question, and then they would say some Hollywood Squares answer like that was supposed to be funny, and then they give you the real answer
Mm.
afterwards. So I do a lot of
Yeah, so
Hollywood
that
Square answering these days because some of these questions are nonsense, right? You see what's going on in the world. Uh,
and it's
you
exhausting. It's exhausting. We're not even there, going through the horrors that people are going through, and just watching it and just talking about it is exhausting. It's just painful.
right. Yeah, it's it, because like we'll do stories like about what's going on like in the war, the quote unquote war, which is really the genocide. And it's always the same thing every day. 50 people killed in a airstrike on a school that was supposed to be a shelter, right? And then there's
Hmm.
some sort of retaliation, and then there's another strike on aid workers and journalists, and nobody over here just seems to give a shit about it. At least a lot of people who watch like the mainstream media and stuff like that. I mean, we were saying before that we do have a lot more information sources now than we did ever before with independent media, but it's also a matter of like, who do you trust and who's not, who's got their own little agendas going on, right?
Yeah, and actually, we have people like actually streaming from within Gaza. They're showing us what's going on.
I think that's the difference right there between, because this kind of stuff has been going on for decades, but it hasn't been able to be well documented and delivered to the public instantaneously like it has in recent years, right? I mean, not just, I mean, because we've had cell phones, but now you have the 5G and whatever more powerful it is where you can, and what is it, Elon Musk's Starlink, where you could basically have internet practically anywhere.
Hmm.
It's it's really hard to hide a genocide and call it self-defense these days.
Yeah, and people still these mainstream media outlets still try to do that, and you're like, what the hell? And people are just religious and following these outlets.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Their parents and their parents before them were always told that like your Walter Cronkites, or you got to trust these people, or what's his name? Uh, he was in World War II, and he had the hat, and he was always smoking. I guess that was like half of him, but Edward R. Murrow, those kind of people, they were canonized as just like these can't do wrong journalists, protector of the fourth estate or whatever. Is that what it's called? The fourth estate.
Hmm.
And but that was in a time where you had like several different ownerships of these media companies, and then in 96 you had the Telecommunications Act, and that narrowed it down to where like a handful of people could basically own all media. And then all of a sudden you get like the pandy, the little, the jab thing. And then, all this stuff in Ukraine and Israel. And, all of a sudden it's just like, shh, can't talk about stuff like that, you know? But, and then you get these independent journalists who are, literally risking their lives. And They're yeah, and they're dying too.
Yeah. Right. And the one thing with the mainstream media, they've shown it so many times where a script will come in and the same item gets read over and over again from one telecaster to the other. This is how they're looking at it. This is the viewpoint you have to have. And then it came out about all the different Mossad agents. Like CNN
Oh
has
right,
them there,
yeah,
and some
yeah,
other stations have it as well. It's like, well, could you imagine in another country and their intelligence, former intelligence agents are behind the scenes in a news outlet? But
yeah.
it seems okay. It seems okay for Israel to have, them was former Mossad agents and IDF soldiers and all of them, on CNN.
And if you don't know who Mossad is, that's their spy agency. So they're basically employees of their spy agency is who they're hiring for CNN and all these other mainstream media uh, outlets. Yeah, and it's just so soaked in Zionism too. It really is. It's you got to toe that Zionist line. Um, and I watch the sports balls, right, because I'm a
Hmm.
Saints fan and I like to torture myself. But I've been noticing too that they have this anti-Semitism ad. The NFL does, and it's you don't see anything about like Palestinians. You just see just about Jewish people, and I'm like, the NFL is one of these propagandized things that the masses seem to eat up too, because they seem to have this worship for the military, right? But
Hmm.
they in actuality, the military pays the NFL for them to laud praise over you're fighting for our country as long as we'll keep saying that as long as you keep passing us some dough. And there's stuff like that people don't understand, like just regular ass people who watch like football every fall, and they see these commercials and they don't realize that they're being propagandized.
They have no idea.
No. Well, that's the thing. They've softened Americans up to where we become these people who need who keep looking for convenience, right? We need everything to be easier, easier, and it's really like our work ethic has gone to shit. Like the ones who actually do the work are like very few and far between. They're starting to lose their jobs to robots, you know? So where's the breaking point where people don't just like put down their tools or whatever and just say, this system is crazy, and the government's that's right, doggies, you know it too.
Yeah, yeah,
Those
that's
puppies
Colby.
know. That
Yep,
puppy knows. But yeah, the only way we're going to get change is if we do it ourselves, right?
exactly, exactly. People have something has to get people to a state where they're just going to rise up. They're going to have enough.
Yeah. I mean, and I keep pondering that because apparently, not getting health care during a pandemic wasn't enough. Allowing these kids to get burned alive in these tents overseas is not enough. You got to think to yourself, my God, where's the human race at now? Where are we to? Is there even a red line anymore? Have we
Y-
crossed that Rubicon, as they say?
Yeah, there's just no empathy. Nobody cares. And
Yeah.
even on the show, when I brought up about that with the cop cities, and you have the IDF training, um, training our law enforcement, and there are cop cities in so many cities.
Mm-hmm. That cop
That's a scary.
cities,
That's a scary thing.
right? I mean, forget the internment camps or concentration camps. It's those cop cities is what they're actually physically building, and you think, well, what's so crazy about that? Well, those are what lead to internment and concentration camps because they have to have these police force cities like that to mobilize and crack down on protesters and whatever martial law gets declared in the near future. You know, they're mobilized for that too. So
Right, because you see right now all the people that, I mean, I never thought in my life people that would be standing up saying genocide is wrong, that these are the people they're going after.
yeah, it's
And
insane.
then it is insane. And then Trump with his line about deporting people. You know,
Yeah,
if you're, you stand with Palestine or whatever, you don't stand with America and stand with Israel, and we're gonna, deport all you people, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, what? But back to where we came from. Like my family came over here in the late 1800s, like from Ireland, and people have backgrounds that are so many different countries their families came from.
you know, though, that might be one of those Streisand effect things because people who are trying to get the hell out of the United States and can't afford to do it, well, just say that you're fans of Palestine, and then you get a free ticket out, baby. That's what we call win-win.
Hmm.
They pay the freight, and you get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.
It's a dream come true. Um, Now you've got me actually thinking about doing that. So
He said,
come on, Trump, you got to win so you can deport me.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm against genocide. I'm against the genocide in Gaza. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I know, right? What? You're against genocide? Ew, who brought you in on their shoe? Ew, get out of here. You're just crap. Yeah, I mean, you when you talk to other sane people, and cherish those sane people in your lives, folks, because they seem to be getting fewer and fewer these days. So, wrap them up in that bubble wrap so they stay protected.
Hmm.
But because you're starting to see more and more people just lose their shit these days over some dumb shit too, because their brains have been just like so conditioned to be this jelly of a thing where you don't have to think so much. You just press a button or you just say, Siri, do this or whatever, you know.
Hmm.
Do,
You don't thinking skills.
let me ask you something. I ain't trying to get in your business or nothing, but do you have like that home, like, like, what is it, the little thing that you could tell them, like, hey, open the fridge, make me a sandwich.
No, no, no,
You don't have any of that? Okay.
no.
I don't have those either. I if a smart home is smarter than you, then no, that is not a home. That is a prison. Uh,
Hmm.
Especially if these bars come down out of nowhere. It's like you didn't even install bars yet. Then this computer did this shit too, because AI, they can do all that shit. Are you scared of AI? Or you think it's going to take over too?
I just don't like what they've been doing with it. I mean, and what really has irked me for a long time is every type of thing that comes out, whether weapons, AI, they say test it on the Palestinians. I'm like,
Right. Yeah, and they don't tell you that in the press. They tell you about all this cool stuff with Chat GPT and how your kids can use it to do their homework for them and shit, but they don't mention about how they're used in weapons and how to pinpoint and target civilians. And it is civilians that they're going after. I mean, it's nobody's that bad a shot with that kind of stuff. So I'm worried about that shit too. I'm worried about um I don't know. I mean, I guess not worried, but I'm kind of fascinated to see what it's going to do to Hollywood. Because they're making them just like anything else. The technology always gets better and better each year, so it's going to get to a point where our movies are all going to be AI generated with AI generated voices, AI generated scripts. So what the hell is Hollywood going to be good for then, right?
exactly, that's the end of that.
Yeah, well, and that's the changing of the guard for the propaganda machine because Hollywood. I inadvertently got to this point, and I'm glad I did because sometimes my stoner brain works. So you get to it's the next level of propaganda. What's next, right? Or is it because Hollywood? You have your actors who are what your CAA, the big giant acting a talent agency that's also like the talent agency for like people like AOC and other uh
Yeah.
different people. So I mean, like, but if everybody's doing their own thing and it looks really good and it looks better than some of these $200 million, $300 million blockbusters, where does that power go for as far as like propaganda? Does it seep into the software that they're using to edit this stuff? Or I mean, because you're kind of losing Hollywood. Hollywood's kind of going away,
Hmm.
you know. But and like I said, that's a huge propaganda arm of the government is
Oh,
Hollywood,
definitely, definitely.
and what happens to it and what shape and form it takes, you know, who knows? Um, well, and now they got all the deep fakes and stuff too, where they can like change your face and make you look like somebody else too. You have to worry about that.
Hmm. So yeah, things are changing a lot, even now too. Like with the government, uh, they kept you have those APAC people that are with every congressperson, but they're seeing how they failed, how everything's failed because right now you have the genocide that's going on. Nobody's watching Israel. Nobody's like you say, maybe years ago you'd have somebody saying you're on a wrong track, this, that, the other thing. Now everybody's like thinking you got to cheer Israel on. No matter what they do, you have to be with them. You have to be with them. Even when they're doing something so horrid like they're doing now, there's no one saying you're doing wrong.
No, no. I mean, it's definitely not the press. It's definitely not like any of these late night shows where that are just basically mouthpieces for the government now. Um, I mean, it's everything like in these like 80s dystopian future movies where like everything was corporatized. Like I guess Judge Dredd is a good example where it's just like everything is run by the corporations. Everything, like your healthcare, your streets, all that stuff. And you have these cops now who are kind of acting like, judge, jury, and executioner in a lot of cases. And it's like you said, how are they getting away with this kind of stuff? How are these cops getting away with this kind of stuff? They're showing them on their body cams, and they're
Yes, I
still
was
getting
thinking that
away with it.
myself. Yeah, the body cams and how they're just all this the way they're dressed up now. I just remember years ago. I remember just a simple cop walking down the street.
Yeah,
Now they're like they're in warfare with you or something.
yeah, yeah. They have like all this Kevlar on and like kind of radios and stuff everywhere, and and like body armor and it's just like why do you need that stuff? You don't need that stuff. These big giant trucks, these tank looking things. I've seen those in New York a couple of times when I was there. Uh, but and it's not, and I've been to a few protests there, and it's always some instigator that has nothing to do with the protest who starts shits so they can say to the press, hey, look at all these violent thugs out here tearing up your businesses. It's like it wasn't them in the first place, but you can't prove it because it's a whole bunch of moving people, and if you can get them on camera, I guess. But you know,
Yeah, these hired actors to do this stuff.
yeah, right. It's usually some Fed that gets in there
Hmm.
to mess up the works because the Fed say you can't have nice things. Um, let's see, yeah, but Hollywood has been flopping hard, and I'm here for it. That's what Miguel says. I am too. I mean, I think I know he didn't. plan on having a discussion about Hollywood. But I mean, you think about it, it's like, why do these movies cost so much if most of it is like CGI and stuff? And so, and some people say, well, the CGI technology, it's like, really, does it get that much more expensive? You need to spend $200 million on a movie where half of it's green screen. I don't get it.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've been to
Makes
a movie?
I don't know. I know it was before COVID. It's been a while.
Oh wow, really? Yeah, I can't remember either. I think it may have been like the tail end of COVID or something. We finally went to go see something, and it was just subpar.
Yeah.
It's very sad. And and I wonder about that too. It's like, why are these shows and stuff so subpar now? Is it just because of like corporate greed? They're like, cut back on the writers, cut back on all the candy and whistles and bells. I need more money in my pocket. This cigar doesn't smoke
That's what it
itself.
is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah, I saw an article somewhere where they were talking about this is like, we're in another gilded age, the money's just all at the top and
Yeah.
it's basically it.
How do we cure greed? It's an addiction, right? It's an addiction to money. How can we cure that? How can we isolate that in the brain and get rid of it?
But here we see there's so many commercials. They keep putting stuff in front of people's faces. You have to have this. You have to have this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're always trying to sell you stuff. And watch out if you're getting stuff off the TV, because if it says the price is real cheap, but then it'll say plus shipping and handling. Well,
That's a lot.
that shipping and handling is the gotcha part of that transaction. Because seriously, you think you're gonna get a rocking chair for $2.50? Come on, people. That is not happening today. You can't even get eggs for $2.50. I don't think
It's
so.
crazy the prices of stuff.
How are these prices being jacked up? You think it's corporate greed's number one?
Yes.
I
Yes,
think
it's
it is
corporate
too.
greed. There's no other reason for it.
Right? Because
They
the supply is good, right?
yeah, supply's good. They put the prices up during COVID and they never brought them down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're trying to see if it'll just stick like that until people bitch about it. Oh, did you hear about it was like somebody sued. Oh, it was in New York, I think. I don't know if they were teachers or I think they may have been firefighters, but they sued because they lost their job because they didn't get the jibby jab, and they sued and they won like $1 million a piece.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
So
and
so
now they've come out about the jibby jab too, saying all these problems because it wasn't tested.
right, and then they said this. They also had this thing where it said, well, you can't sue the drug companies either if the jibby's no good, which I found to be like whoa 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 whoa. A lot of people found that to be whoa 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 whoa, but nobody seemed to do anything about that either. That's what I found to be very disturbing about that,
Yeah.
among
So and
other
then
things.
yeah, and then you have a whole generation of young men. They talked about with heart problems. I don't know what the heart thing is, but a lot of young people are just you find out somebody just died. And they're young. They went to bed and they never got up the next day. And it's like, wait, they had no health problems, nothing. The only thing that's common is that they all had the jibby jab.
You
They
know,
were told they had to.
some of them were calling it SADS, sudden adult death syndrome. And I'm like, that's not a thing, guys. That's you need to find out what that that death
Yeah.
syndrome part is and maybe work on that. Because yeah, I mean, like they had the thing out and you were seeing like these videos of people like they were pulling like these look like earthworm like tumors out of their legs and stuff. Because they had those right after they got the woohoo. Miguel, the second part is where you want to go. Is I look so tired because I am high, And because I enjoyed doing these conversations stoned, because then I don't worry about if the TV goes off, like if the stream goes down. We'll just keep talking. It's fine. We're not fancy around here or nothing. We're just jabbing and jabbing and jabbing.
Yeah, the good old jab.
Yeah, yeah, and so I think you're going to see a lot more. And the only way I think you're really going to see it is the class action lawsuits, because I think this was a class action lawsuit, and I can't remember for what particular part of New York. It may not. It may have been somewhere in the city, but you know that's where we're
Yeah.
at, man. And then I see the stories that you're talking about with Joe over there in Israel and all the shit, But you do it like, well, you do it like 5 times a week.
Sometimes I do it 5 times a week, yeah, and, every once in a while, I'll take off for a few days, like, I was just off for Saturday and Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. I was like, "Wow." And then, today's my first day back, but I was originally gonna take Friday off, and
Right.
then all of a sudden, I see the news and I'm seeing, like, my Telegram talks about with, Israel starting with Iran. Oh, yeah. So, of course, then Madeline came on with me and we were on, Friday night, because I'm not gonna take off when something like that's going on.
Right. Yeah, because you don't know if this is it. If this is like, the pop in the cork for WW3.
Yes.
Because Russia's already warned Israel about touching their stuff in Syria. Right. They're like, don't touch our shit. Or because
Exactly, don't touch it, but I don't know, it's just this weird mentality, this indoctrinated mentality they have in Israel.
yeah. Well, yeah, and it's from birth, right? They teach these
Yes.
kids from birth to you got to hate all these people because they hate you, and then they put them in the armed service there, train, teach them how to, kill people, and and just hate. And then you see these little kids on the street, they're talking about Palestinian people like they're animals. Little kids that talking shit. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
the
the what?
small children. Yeah,
Yeah,
we had a show where we showed this, school bus, and the kids were singing, and about how the whole world hates, they hate Arabs and the whole world and I'm thinking, "No, they don't,"
no.
but
But
they're brainwashed into it.
yeah, that's what they're taught to believe, right? Because what was it? Of course, 9/11 in recent times, but before that, you had all the plane hijackings. Remember, you used to have a lot of plane hijackings back like in the 70s, I think
Yes.
60s too, but mostly the 70s. A lot of planes getting hijacked. There was a lot of Arab terrorists. You had the PLO back then. Uh, and they were labeled as terrorists, and even the mainstream media back then was just going along with it too.
And we never got both sides of the story.
Not really. I mean, you didn't have independent media there, and nobody would trust the local media there because they thought it was bought and paid for by the state. But we're
Oh,
coming to
yeah.
see
Oh,
now they have a lot of different outlets in the region that are independent. They don't rely on the state.
right, and now what do we hear all the time? Oh, they hate the US, because they hate our freedoms and this, that,
Yeah.
the other shit. I'm like, you're so full of it.
I always
They
like when
have
that
good
was my
reason.
favorite one. They hate our freedoms.
And it's like, yeah, cop on every corner, I'm only kidding. But, the cameras all over the place,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean,
But
London's pretty bad, right? London like literally has cameras all over the place, don't they?
yes, they do.
I mean, that's I don't know. I mean,
It is creepy. It is creepy.
yeah, to be have those cameras on you all the time like that is just you. It's not protection. It's control. Because you've got some hayseed up in there in the booth or wherever he is watching these cameras and sees you do something that they think is illegal, and it ain't
Hmm.
illegal. It's just their dumbass thought it was, and then next thing you know, they come in guns blaring and
Or you have somebody is, I'm just thinking, say like if you get an itch somewhere where, you want to just hide somewhere to scratch yourself, you don't want anybody seeing you. Well, the cameras, the cameras are everywhere. You can't even,
that's the story of my life. I can't even scratch anywhere without those damn eyes in the sky looking at me and my sultry body. You sons of bitches! Stay away from me! I'm not a piece of meat!
exactly, right? Thinking you
Those,
did something like I just scratched myself for heaven's sakes. But I was
they,
gonna say they never tell you the other side of the thing with like they'll say, oh, the US got attacked or this person got attacked, whatever. But they never tell you what the US did or somebody else did beforehand.
uh-uh. No, they could think that's like, yeah, we did that shit. Shh, don't tell nobody. And then they're hiding back behind the curtain. But
Yeah,
the other people up front are the ones talking. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, if you don't know by now that the U.S. is somewhere in the mix, that there's always when you smell those assholes nearby, you know fuckery is afoot. So for all my
exactly.
friends across the pond who haven't figured this shit out, they ain't bringing democracy. They're bringing fuckery, and they're going to take all your shit that's valuable, basically.
That's what I said. Those are words where if you're living in a different country and the US says we're gonna bring democracy to your country, it's like well time for me to pack up and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, you need to pack up the U-Haul and haul your ass out of there because democracy comes at the end of a gun barrel, or
Oh
a
yeah.
drone, or that's another
Yeah.
new fun weapon they're using nowadays. The kids love those flying death machines. Um,
Yeah, our enemy is under the ground and it's, oh no, they're. Oh sorry. Oh we thought it was they were. Oh I guess we got false information. Meanwhile you blew up a whole apartment building and even under the ground and everything else.
and what's all this shit really when you boil it down to this or any of these wars? It's all about resources, right? It's coming after resources.
Yes,
A
yes.
100 years ago, Nikola Tesla said, I can conjure energy out of the sky. And they said, "Yeah, man, we can make a lot of money." He's like, "Nah, we just give it away." And that's when you heard the crickets, and that's when the next scene he's dying alone and poor in the New Yorker hotel. I think in the 1940s he passed away. But see, the thing is, if we'd had all that free energy, God knows what we've been doing now. Maybe we'd have Star Trek and shit now. You know, it's
Right, it's just
free.
corporate greed.
It is, and it's like they don't understand that if they put more back into the company and the people, they'll probably make more profits still. But because
Yes.
your mechanisms of production, your people, your infrastructure, they're all taken care of and well maintained, and
Hmm.
they tend to be more productive. But they want that instant
That
gratification. They want that money now. That money now.
right, but that's why it used to be years ago, where the tax rate was high on the top margin for that reason of what's happening today.
Right.
Because having too much, and then they would have write-offs for the fact of reinvesting in the company, investing in the workforce. You had to tell them how to act like different people, how to be there for the workforce and everything else, that they would get a write-off for that. But yeah, but too much money in the hands of these people is no good. We see the evil that it brings.
Unions seemed like they were stronger back in the day too.
Oh, they
Uh,
were, yes.
and these days now it just seems like the union bosses are all bought and paid for, and then it's just like electoral politics. It's just like why do you keep voting for the same mob boss, union boss, if they're still just gonna just do the same dumb shit? and not get you the benefits that you need,
Hmm.
because it seems like that's what's happening in our our house of our Congress. We elect these people to do our bidding, and then they get there and they don't do it. But we keep electing them because orange man bad, that kind of shit. It's
Well,
disgusting.
it is disgusting. And that's what you say. How the hell did we get there? Yeah, from people being asleep and the corporations taking over and they put their puppets in. Now, come on. I mean, Donald Trump should be somebody that's easy to beat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, supposedly, I think that was the goal. They like, you run and I'll beat you, and that'll be it. And then he decided, no, I think I'll win, and then he did. Uh, who knows
Yeah,
how that shit went down for
yeah,
real
well, we
though.
could have. Yeah, we could have had Bernie,
Gonna have
but
Bernie.
yeah, and this was something that they thought Hillary could beat. The story that I was told about with because Trump was friends with the Clintons, and convincing him to run, and this way, Hillary.
Wow. I mean, I've heard those stories too, and I mean, do you think they're legit that they actually convinced him to run?
He was shocked when he won the first time.
I
I
think
think he thought
so.
it was. He was shocked because he thought it was going to go to Hillary. He was just going to get all that attention, and he was just looking at it from the business end. And then it was
Right.
like, whoopsie, you're president.
Yeah, I know, right? That should be a TV show called Whoopsie, You're President. Da-da-da-da-da. You were running for president. You didn't really mean it, but whoopsie, you're the
Yeah,
president. Da-da-da-da-da. It writes itself, D. We're going to do it. Uh, and it's just Trump going, I didn't mean to do it, but here I am. I guess, okay, I'll do it.
right. And he had no problems either, too. Like when they said about with yeah, with the jab and stuff, and then when it had people needing money, you got the economy going. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The checks. Yeah, he had no problems. Mitch McConnell was the one that was giving him a hard time with the checks, and he was like,
Right.
"Yeah, people need money. Give them money. Yeah, we got money. We can write them out checks."
See, that's what Trump's good for. He's like
Yeah,
he's like you get him in the like the old school dump truck with like the cash in it. He's in there with the shovel. It's like, here, take this fucking money. Here, take some money. What are you doing? Come on, grab this money. Come on, it's money, people. Take the fucking money. That's what he is. And yeah, like Mitch McConnell is like, I don't know about that. That's to stop shoveling money at those people. And he's like, shut up, turtle. Let's give the money. Everybody gets money. He's like, woo, like he's at the strip club or something.
but he was right though with the money because yeah, 'cause people spend it. He knows that. I mean, he may not be the brightest tool in the shed, whatever, but he does know you give people money, they're going to spend it,
Right,
and that keeps the
exactly.
economy going.
Right. And that's, yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't have to be like a Harvard trained economist to know that you give people money, they're going to spend the money. And then, it just keeps the blood going, it keeps the life blood going. But you
Yeah.
can't do it. But that's the thing. It all goes back to capitalism
Hmm.
because that just means it takes money to make money, right? So you have to have money in order to make money. And if you don't have money off the bat, then, well, oopsie, you're president,
Yeah.
whatever that was.
Yeah.
That's,
Oopsie.
we're still gonna make that TV show. What's up, Willie? Good to see you. Yeah, he didn't mean to do it. He was fucking around. Then whoopsie, he's
Whoop.
president.
And that's exactly what happened. And he's like, and I mean, he just loves being Mr. Celebrity anyway. He stands there, and the way he talks in front of the camera all the time goes to the left, faces to the right, back and forth. He does what they tell him to do. But he just loves being in front of there, and to him, he's just entertaining himself.
Right.
And
He
they
could
and they fall for the shit.
he could do like a monologue too at the beginning of every episode. It's like, I told these people I didn't want to be president. I was just doing this to help Hillary. And then all of a sudden, whoopsie, I'm president. And now I got to do all this shit. I don't know. I didn't really want to do this. Somebody get me a cheeseburger. And then the show starts and whoopsie, it's president. You know,
And then he's got the whole MAGA movement and all these people. He's got this cult behind him, and it wasn't meant to be, but now he's got the cult. It's great. People buying his sneakers, Trump sneakers, and all this other stuff that he was marketing.
You know, I think right before 9/11, Comedy Central had this TV show called That's My Bush, and it would make fun of George Bush basically, and he had like a wacky neighbor that would come over and shit, and it just made him just sound like a dumbass. And then all of a sudden 9/11 happened, and then they quietly took that show off the air, because at the time he was like he'd lost a spy plane to China, right? Do you remember that? I think that was his first year as president, George W. And some spy plane got captured in China, and it had their crew on there too, and it was like very embarrassing. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, and then they were making then Comedy Central. I think it was the guys who made South Park. They made that show. That's My Bush, and it was just he was
It's
just
funny.
he was so stupid in that show, and it was just like they could do that for Trump too. Like, whoopsie, I'm president. So,
Definitely. Whoopsie. Yep, it happened, and it's just
and these TV producers out there better not steal our ideas, because I'm a redneck. I come for revenge and blood, and lots of blood.
Oh
Um,
yeah, then when he told us he was going to give us those $2,000 checks, and then Biden gets in, well, you already got this portion of it. You're not going to get the full thing, and he said 2,000.
the
Trump
cheap
would have given it.
motherfucker. I know, right?
Exactly.
And they sending billions over to Ukraine and Israel, billions and billions and billions, and you're like, can I eat? And they're like, pull
Exactly.
yourself up by the bootstraps, son. What's wrong with you? You're American. Come on,
Yeah.
America. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's like, well, just go look. What did he say that time, Trump, about people needing money for something? And he said, well, just borrow from your trust fund. Like people have this trust fund.
Everybody has a trust fund, right? This is America. Why don't you have a trust fund? What are you, poor? What's wrong with you? Right? Yeah.
He's
You're-
got his trust fund. He still gets money out of his trust fund every year.
yeah. So, a self start, but he's a self starter. D. He's self starting with somebody else's money. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, I know, right, Miguel? Healthcare, please. And then he's
Yeah.
like, healthcare? What are you, stupid? Get out of here. Go make me
Kicking the
some
can down the
biscuits.
road.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
yeah, kicking the can down the road. Because I mean, they're not stupid. They see how this works in like socialist countries. They know that the shit works, but they don't want the people to know here that it works, because then they'd have to start providing real social services and fixing the infrastructure. But neither
No, they
one of
don't want
those
to do
things,
that.
that ain't gonna happen.
Right,
Not in
because
this lifetime.
Japan modeled their healthcare system after our Medicare system.
Oh boy.
So they modeled their system, and it's been working for years, and it works great. So we definitely get the Medicare for all, and it would cost less. But the thing is, like that, it's like but what about the corporations with their profit? Where are those people supposed to work? Well, they're going to drop somewhere. But yeah, the health professionals will still be in the health field.
Right.
You'll still need people working in the office and doing stuff with Medicare for all. Your health clinics and stuff.
I just think all you need is, as far as like healthcare, I think it should be just like exactly the way it is. To just whenever you walk into a clinic or a hospital, and you get your some procedure done, whether it's emergency services, or if it's just like you're getting a hip replacement or something, and then you're getting out, right, and they wheel you out in the wheelchair, because that's hospital policy, and then you get up outside and you go the fuck home. And
Hmm.
the moral of the story is, well, how do they get paid? You just get the government, write that check, baby. Delicious.
Right.
Money for you. Love the government. And then you and me as people, we could just be healthy and not have to worry about it. But they don't want that to happen
Exactly.
either.
And then all of a sudden, Our food will have labels on it and different food and skincare products that there wouldn't be, harmful things in the products. Because that's the difference between countries that have a healthcare for all system, that they won't allow certain ingredients, say in their cosmetics or their skincare. They don't allow certain ingredients in their food products.
Right.
Even the McDonald's overseas, they don't allow stuff in their food that we allow here. So it's like an intention to get people sick here.
Yeah, so you can spend your money on healthcare. We have a few people rolled in here. We got Matt John. Good to see you, Matt. And Max. Max, I know you've probably been in here for a few minutes, but I'm saying hi to you now because I'm kind of shy, you know. And we got Chuck too, flying around in a spaceship. Um, was this Willie's? If they rehabilitated Hitler, Dick Cheney, they will eventually rehabilitated Trump, who is less right wing. Yeah, they're rehabilitating all these people because they want you to think of the hive mind, right? See,
Mhm.
these Republicans are good. See, these Democrats are good. We're all working together to fuck you over. But they leave off that last part where they say "fuck you over."
Exactly. They leave that part off.
They do. They tend to leave a lot of stuff out of the media guides as far as telling us what they do, right? But I mean, if you think about it, I mean, how big of a game changer is that? If you everybody like, you don't have to not only worry about like if you break your leg or something like that, but let's say you want preventative health care, right? You want to go in like, you know, some place that's like a gym of sorts that lets you use their gym equipment for, for cardio and stuff, or just whatever on your own time to keep yourself well, so that you're not using major services and and
Exactly.
and spending and putting more strain on the thing. It's kind of an evener, like it levels it out, right? You have people who are taking care of themselves, so that means there's less people needing, intensive care like immediately, right?
And then they have, a lot of these countries, they'll have, mental health care services.
Right.
People say if they lose their job, they're naturally they have it where people go to a mental health provider to help them work through the situation of losing their job and moving forward. And so it's just taking care of the person, mind, body, spirit. And the simple thing is that people don't realize, just like Nancy Pelosi or whoever, when they do their appropriation bills, do an appropriation bill to send all this weaponry and money over to Ukraine or whoever else they want to send it to. It's the same thing. You write an appropriation bill and it's for the health care. As long as you
Yeah.
know where the money's going to and they say where it's going to and it's
R-
being used in the economy, it's being used.
yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah, and in that respect, I'm kind of with the libertarians as far as like keeping government smaller, because this giant government the way it is now, there is money that's going all these little cracks and crevices, and we don't know where it's going to. These black
Hmm.
op budgets that the CIA has, God knows what they're, I mean, we know what they're doing with it, but we don't know how much money and stuff that's costing us. 2 trillion missing, announced the day before 9/11, and then it's yeah, it's not so much how much you're spending, it's what you're spending the money on. And when you're not spending it on the people, which we were finding out through all those hurricanes during Florida, right? And all those people that got displaced and their homes destroyed, how much fuckery they're going through, which is another question. Why the fuck would you live in Florida anyway if you know those hurricanes are going to be hitting those places every year? I don't. That's probably why they're so crazy down there. It's
And and the
absurd.
sad thing is, the insurance company is a bunch of BS too.
Oh yeah,
They don't cover most of the stuff. And then you had some of these people that were the adjusters or whoever they are. They go around, they write down everything that's wrong and whatever has to get done. And then when it goes to the to the company itself. The company itself takes off a bunch of stuff and decides to give like the person just this tiny check that doesn't cover everything. Oh no, we don't cover new roofs. Oh, we don't cover roof repair at all, and we don't cover this, that, and the other thing.
Right. Yeah, it's the same scam. It's just like they nickel and dime you to death. Only it's instead of nickels and dimes, it's fives and tens and hundreds and thousands, just so these people can have a home in Florida. You know, uh, but that's the thing. It's just yeah, they gave them like $750 or something.
Yeah.
And that's what you can do with $750 when your house is literally gone, right? You know, you can't rebuild a house. You can't even make a foundation for $750.
The whole thing is BS, but they can always send money to, like we said, to other countries. They can bail out all these corporations. They could, I don't know, all the stuff they do. They could take care of every single person in this country.
Right? But I mean, they're not going to do it on their own. We have to demand it. We have to get in the streets. We have to shut shit down. We have to talk to our friends in major commerce arteries like shipping and trucking and the any kind of goods and services, transportation, the power grid people.
Hmm.
And people don't understand how serious this is going to have to be to actually shut it down, because the voting stuff is all well and good, but on this with this current system, it's not going to make a lick of difference until you change the system, right? So hopefully we can get people in the streets. I mean, one thing before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you, because I know you've been doing this for a while. You've been doing these shows when you were with KRTD with those crazy party animals. I've heard the stories, all these late night, marathon cocaine sessions. Come on, man. That's we can't do that to your heart. But I mean, like, what keeps you doing this stuff? What got you into it, and why do you keep doing it?
Okay, but the interesting thing was, actually, Real Progressives is where I got started, and I started, I was just sharing out because that was something that I did anyway. I would share things, share people's shows and stuff, and I didn't even realize Real Progressives was like this behind the scenes group, whatever. And later on, I found out about it, but I just continually shared, and that's how I met different people, a lot of people. And then KRTD, I got into that with Joe Firestone. I used to watch, Joe. Actually, I found Joe Firestone from Real Progressives. He would talk about finance and talked about MMT. And so he was the one that talked about KRTD Media and asked if, they needed people for the share team, if I was interested. And I was like, sure, why not? So I started sharing stuff around. And then I got to the point where I was going to do a show, and it was supposed to be one night a week. And things kind of went downhill then with KRTD, and then I just kind of got my own show together.
Right. And now you're doing that residency in Vegas. You're at the you're at the Sands 3 nights a week. That's a good gig. I tried to get that gig. They said no, no, we don't. We want talented people, sir, not vagrants. Um, well, I guess we are at the top here, and we like to keep this a tight running ship. I know
But thank
you.
you for having me. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Well, listen, yeah, I mean, and you've had me on your show before too, and
Mhm.
we had a good time, good conversations. This is the first time you've been on this show, so this is just to give people a little taste. You just give them a little sample, and then keep them wanting more. So, of course, we'll bring you back sometime in the future, probably before we have flying cars. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Uh,
Okay, that's cool.
I
That's
hope we
cool.
never get flying cars. Not with these people. I don't even like the ground cars anymore. Much as you can stick them up in the air like that, So,
Crazy.
uh, stay safe. Do me a favor, stay put for a second. I'm gonna say goodbye to you for reals. Let me say goodbye to all these other fools in here who managed to hang out with the spooky background. Yes. So tomorrow there are things going on. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's this thing.
Fuck you, everybody. Good night.
We don't normally do that on this show, but since we're close to the holy day, I figured we'd probably give it a shout out. And then, like we said, tomorrow, we will be showing the 1922 revamped version of Nosferatu. This time he has a laser weapon. It's in space. I believe it's in space this time. So you got to fight space vampires. There's no such thing. I just made that up. Thank you everybody on YouTube and Rockfin and Rumble and Facebook if you're there. If I missed you, I'll aim better next time. Like I said, we'll be doing this tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Nosferatu. Should be fun. Hey, Global Solidarity, good to see you. Of course, Dee's going to be, she never stops working. She's going to be on later tonight, too, at her normal time, probably, about another hour or so, right, Dee?
Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. See, she's still there. I didn't shove her out the door. Come on, people. Don't be assholes, all right? Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Dee. Thanks you for watching this in the future. Like I said, check us out tomorrow night for Nosferatu with Count Drank You Blood. He's going to be in here, maybe sober. We can't predict the future with vampires, so we're working on that technology. Anyway, love each and every one of you. Stay safe. Stay out of the cults. Use your brain. Don't be stupid. Peace.